When the tide rolls in, it brings more than just waves, it brings secrets. Secrets that have been buried deep, waiting for the right moment to resurface. The ocean, with its relentless rhythm, has a way of uncovering truths that were meant to stay hidden. And, in the small coastal town of Blackwater, one such secret was about to change everything. The quiet coastal town of Blackwater was rocked when a fisherman found the lifeless body of journalist Laura Carmichael washed up on the shore. The town, known for its serene beauty and tight-knit community, was suddenly thrust into the spotlight. The discovery sent shockwaves through the community, leaving everyone in a state of disbelief and fear. Her pale face and the bruises around her neck screamed foul play. The sight was haunting, a stark contrast to the peaceful surroundings. Laura's lifeless body told a story of violence and betrayal, a story that demanded to be heard. The bruises were a silent testimony to the struggle she had endured, a struggle that ultimately cost her her life. Detective Mark Lewis, known for his relentless pursuit of justice, was called to the scene. Lewis was a seasoned investigator with a reputation for solving the most complex cases. His presence brought a sense of hope to the grieving community. He was determined to uncover the truth, no matter where it led him. Laura had been digging into corruption within the town's government, targeting Mayor Martin Finch. Her investigation was thorough and fearless, exposing the dark underbelly of Blackwater's political landscape. She had uncovered evidence of embezzlement, bribery, and other illicit activities that pointed directly to the mayor's office. Could her investigation have led to her death? The question loomed large, casting a shadow over the entire town. Laura's work had made her many enemies, and it was clear that someone wanted to silence her, but who and why? The answers were buried deep, waiting to be unearthed. Interviews began with those closest to her. Friends, family, and colleagues were all questioned, as Detective Lewis sought to piece together the final days of Laura's life. Each interview brought new insights, but also new questions. The more they learned, the more complex the case became. David White, her editor, was the last to see her alive. David was a seasoned journalist, known for his dedication to the truth, but in the days leading up to Laura's death, he had noticed a change in her. She was more anxious, more secretive. Something was clearly weighing heavily on her mind. She was acting strange, David recalled. She'd been receiving threats. She was onto something big. The threats had started as anonymous emails, but had quickly escalated to phone calls and even physical confrontations. Laura had confided in David, but had refused to back down. She was determined to see her investigation through, no matter the cost. Mayor Finch, the prime suspect, denied any involvement. Finch was a charismatic leader with a loyal following, but his public persona was very different from the man Laura had been investigating. He was known for his ruthless tactics and willingness to do whatever it took to maintain his power. "She was harassing me," he coldly stated. Finch's demeanor was defensive, his words carefully chosen. He painted himself as the victim, claiming that Laura had been on a personal vendetta against him. But Detective Lewis wasn't convinced. There was something in Finch's eyes, a flicker of fear that told a different story. Finch had an alibi, and no direct evidence linked him to the murder. The alibi was solid, corroborated by multiple witnesses, but Lewis knew that alibis could be fabricated and witnesses could be bought. He needed more than just circumstantial evidence, he needed a smoking gun. But Lewis persisted, delving into Laura's recent articles. He read through every word, looking for clues that might have been overlooked. Laura's writing was meticulous, her research thorough. She had left a trail of breadcrumbs, and Lewis was determined to follow it. A breakthrough came when Lewis found a hidden USB drive in Laura's apartment. The drive was well hidden, tucked away in a place only someone who knew Laura well would think to look. It was a treasure trove of information, containing hours of interviews, documents, and other evidence that Laura had gathered. Among the hours of interviews, one recording stood out, an anonymous source, voice distorted, warning Laura. The voice was shaky, filled with fear. The source had information that could blow the case wide open, but was clearly terrified of the consequences. "I've said too much. If they find out, I'll be next." The words sent chills down Lewis's spine. The source was clearly in grave danger, and their fear was palpable. But who were they, and what did they know that was so dangerous? The voice analysis pointed to David White. Confronted, David broke down. The revelation was shocking. David had been one of Laura's closest allies, but now it seemed he had been hiding something all along. His breakdown was a mix of guilt and relief as the weight of his secrets finally became too much to bear. He had been involved in Finch's shady deals. David's involvement had started innocently enough, but had quickly spiraled out of control. He had been drawn into Finch's web of corruption and had found himself in too deep to get out. Terrified of exposure, David tried to scare Laura off. He had hoped that the threats would be enough to make her back down, but Laura was relentless, and David's fear turned to desperation. But it went too far. He strangled her in a fit of rage. The confrontation had escalated quickly, and in a moment of blind panic, David had taken Laura's life. The realization of what he had done hit him immediately, but it was too late to undo it. David staged the scene, hoping the tide would erase his crime. He had hoped that the ocean would wash away the evidence, but the sea had other plans. The tide brought Laura back, and with her, the truth. But the waves brought Laura back, and with her, the truth. The ocean, with its relentless rhythm, had uncovered the secret that David had tried so hard to bury. Laura's body was a testament to her determination, and her death would not be in vain. As David was led away, Detective Lewis stood by the shore. The case had been solved, but the cost had been high. Lewis felt a mix of satisfaction and sorrow, knowing that justice had been served, but at a terrible price. The secrets of Blackwater had come to light, but at a terrible cost. The town would never be the same, forever changed by the events that had unfolded. The sun set over Blackwater, casting long shadows over the town as the community began to grapple with the truth. Laura's pursuit of justice ended in betrayal and death. Her legacy would live on, a reminder of the power of truth and the dangers of corruption. The community mourned her loss, but also celebrated her courage and determination. The town would carry these scars for years to come. The wounds were deep, and the healing process would be long and difficult. But the people of Blackwater were resilient, and they would find a way to move forward. Blackwater's darkness had been uncovered, but healing would take time. The community came together, supporting each other through the difficult days ahead. They were determined to rebuild, to create a better future for themselves and their children. This script keeps the tone serious and dramatic, perfect for engaging true crime fans. The pauses help build suspense, and the deep voice will add to the mysterious atmosphere. The story of Blackwater is a reminder of the power of truth, and the lengths some will go to keep it hidden. But in the end, the truth always finds a way to come to light.
Make sure to subscribe to the channel, press the bell icon, and like the video.